Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be taking you through my personal marketing strategy to get my business off the ground and to get my first clients. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Mark, I'm a dad of 2 boys and I've recently quit 9-to-5 work to set up a business that is flexible around my family and gives me a bit more control of my life. This video is looking at my strategy, which is for a small handyman business. But a lot of the principles I talk about here will apply to any small business. If you are in a situation where you're setting up a business, please listen along. I'm sure there's some value in here that could really help you. So there's 4 parts to my marketing strategy. 3 of them are what you would expect, and the 4th one is kind of a little bit out there. I don't think it's done as regularly, but I think for my specific situation, it could be a game changer, and it could be the thing that gets me lots of business. So marketing is something I do actually have a bit of experience in. Straight after university, I actually fell into a marketing job. I worked for the first ever trampoline park in the UK, and I did marketing jobs for about 6 years before I realised it wasn't the career for me. But I did pick up some knowledge in that time. I think marketing is really important and it does work. Otherwise companies wouldn't have such huge budgets for it. But from what I see from especially small businesses, is they tried to cover every aspect of marketing, whereas I personally think it's better to keep it simple and do the simple things really well, and then focus your attention on what's working. So things I'm personally considering with a marketing strategy is 1, budget. So I want to keep it cheap, especially to start, because I currently have no money coming in. So it would be crazy for me to just go out and spend loads of money on marketing in the hope that clients come in. There's lots of free stuff and cheap stuff that I can focus my attention on first, and then maybe as I grow a client base, I can expand into other revenues, other areas, other avenues. That's what I was trying to say, other avenues. The other thing for me personally to consider before I make a strategy is who I want to target and how far I want to reach. As I'm setting up a school hours business, I really want to be as local as possible. So I'm not trying to reach a national audience. I'm trying to reach as many people close to my home as possible, as if I can keep the commute down, that gives me more time then to actually do the job. The next thing to consider is your audience. So what type of people are you trying to target? So for me personally, I'm doing a handyman business, so I've decided I want to target people that are busy. So I personally think parents are really busy, and I live in a place with a lot of young families. So for me, that's a really good target. The next thing to consider is your branding. So you've got personal branding, which for me is kind of the uniform you wear and how you present yourself to clients. And then you've got your business branding, which is kind of logos, websites, business cards, flyers, adverts in magazines, and all of that sort of stuff. Okay, cool. So now we know why marketing is important and what things to consider. Let's get into my strategy. If you've watched a few of my videos by now, you probably know that I like to keep things really simple, and it's no different with my marketing strategy. So the first part of the strategy is a Google My Business page. So if you're not familiar with these, if you typed in on a website, handyman, for example, Google will suggest in blocks a list of handymen that are near your house. These are their Google business pages. So they'll give you basic information like working hours, pictures of work they've done, a link to their website, some contact details. But most importantly, this is where people will put reviews. So the reason this is going to be really important for me is at the start, I'm not going to have a website. I know how to build websites. I've set a few up in the past, but they do come with a lot of faff and a lot of upkeep, and they do cost money. You have to buy domain names, you have to buy hosting, you have to buy, is it SSL certificates if you want to take payments and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, to start with, I'm not going to have a website. I'm going to use the Google business page as my website. I feel websites are more important if you're growing your business to a much larger scale. But for me, I'm trying to keep mine small. I'm trying to keep it local. I personally feel a Google business page is more than enough. And I'm really going to focus on getting reviews. I think every time I do a good job and I send the client an invoice, I'm going to send them a link to the business page as well and just ask for a review. I think a lot of tradespeople miss a trick on this. I think it's a really powerful tool. And I think if you get into the habit of asking for reviews when you've done good jobs, I mean, if you've annoyed a client, probably best not to ask them for a review. But yeah, in the ones where you've done a good job, ask them for a review. I honestly think it makes a massive difference. And in a business like what I'm doing, a lot of it is going to be word of mouth. So people are going to trust other people's opinions of the work you do. The second part of my strategy is I'm going to get an advert in a local magazine. So again, because I want to keep my business really local, there's a magazine that goes to every single household in the local area every single month. And I believe it costs £25 for a small advert in the magazine. So for me, that is a big win. Marketing is all about exposure to the right people. So what you want to do is you want to get your adverts, whatever they are, in front of the people that you want to market to repeatedly. You don't want them to see your advert once and just forget about it. You want them to see it again and again and again. To add on to this point, I'm going to do flyering. So I'm just going to make a simple flyer. It's going to have my logo on. It's going to have my logo on the top. It's going to have a picture of me on it, and it's going to say, "I'm a local handyman. I can do most DIY jobs. Send me some pictures of the jobs. This is my contact details, and I'll get back to you with a quote as soon as I can." And I'm just going to keep it as simple as that. So logo, face, what I do, contact details. That's all I need. And what I'm going to do specifically with this, so the strategy behind this is I'm going to split my local area up into 6 areas. And the idea is each month I'm going to flyer each one of these areas. So twice a year, they'll get a leaflet. And then hopefully they'll see my face in the magazine as well. And then if they Google me, my Google business page will come up, hopefully with lots of good reviews. And the last part of my strategy is something a bit different. It's something maybe people don't think about or maybe are just a bit too embarrassed to do. So I've designed a polo shirt that looks smart. It has my logo on the front, which is really nice. But on the back, it just says, "I'm a handyman. Talk to me if you need a job doing." And that's it. So because I'm targeting parents and I pick my son up from school every single day, I'm just going to wear it every single day. Well, hopefully I'll get 2 or 3 t-shirts. And I'm just going to wear it every single day to school pickup. Because as I said earlier, I think parents is going to be one of my main targets for clients. And that kind of exposure of just seeing it every day, like, oh, that guy's a handyman. Whenever a job pops up that they need doing, they might be like, oh, that guy's a handyman. And then they might actually just come and talk to me during the school pickup, which I think is worth a shot, to be fair. Cool, so that's the basis of my marketing strategy. As I said, I like to keep things simple. If you have any questions, please ask below in the comments. I'm happy to respond to any of them. If you want to see if my marketing strategy is successful, please subscribe. I'm going to be documenting my whole journey, and I'm sure there'll be future videos about whether it worked or not, and maybe what worked and what didn't. Cool, I really hope this was useful to you, and I'll see you in the next video.